Aloha and welcome back, shifters, dreamers, light guardians within this holographic matrix. This is Brendon, aka Mystic Spider-Man, Skull Babylon, Wolf Shield, welcoming you back once again, or perhaps for the first time, to a Paradigm Shift Central Synergy Circle broadcast tonight here for March 11th, 2020, an opportunity for us to be able to come together as a team of conscious creators and leaders, as light guardians, as shifters, as people who are intentionally helping assist with the shift in consciousness through acts of creativity and compassion. Again, this is a project that is presented on behalf of ParadigmShiftCentral.com. You can check out the main website. We're going to be talking about some of the updates there, and again, the bigger scope of what this project is about and how you too can be involved. So if this is your first time here, I highly encourage you to go to ParadigmShiftCentral.com, especially if you're on desktop, so that you can browse the website while we're talking about it. So you can actually see what's in front of you and click around and explore, and to be able to connect further with the team and the project. So we're going to get into things in the next couple moments as I just gently introduce people to what it is that they'll be able to expect within this broadcast. Quick summary: the Paradigm Shift Central project, we've been doing this for over 10 years. It's something that I started as a single club in my college way back in the day, basically as a way for me to answer the question of what can I do to be able to help change the world. And one of the ways that we can do that, one of the ways that I was called to do that, was to be able to help bring people together, and more so particularly to bring people together who are also very passionate about being able to change the world through the power of art, and in particular the power of media, conscious media. And this is the age we're in, where social media influencing and all of these things, but more so than that, storytelling. That's a big theme within the Paradigm Shift Central project, and the website itself is an evolving space to be able to help us practice the art of storytelling. So what stories are we telling when it comes to the shift in consciousness? And this is a story of the things that are happening within our local communities, the transformations that we're going through, the experiences that we can share to be able to help hold a mirror up so that people can see themselves through our collective journey. And of course, this is just painting the picture really big here. This is about us awakening to our multidimensional existence within this reality. This is about awakening as dreamers within the dream. This is about being able to come together as a team, planting seeds and creating the ripples that will make the big waves. This is about changing the world through kindness, through inspiration, through creativity. And thank you so much for being here, for being a part of this. So for those of you who've tuned in on any of the platforms, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, be sure to drop an 1111 in the chat to confirm that you guys can hear me okay, that the audio is coming through. If at any point the audio sounds like it's glitching, let me know in the live chat. We'll fix it as soon as we can. For those of you tuned in on Instagram, we're going to cut the feed there, so make sure that you click the link in my bio to be able to keep watching on YouTube. And again, if you're on desktop, I encourage you to check out ParadigmShiftCentral.com as we go over some of the updates and more of the details. But before we do that, I want to be able to introduce some of the leading members that we have here within the project. Paradigm Shift Central is, again, a place to be able to build a team, and part of that team we refer to as leading members. These are people who are supporting on Patreon, who are people who are contributing to the website content, who are working together in our collaborative community co-op space, who are working amongst me as a conscious media creation coach, who are being able to just be in that very supportive place, not only on these broadcasts, but to be able to, again, lead by example amongst the team, for them to be able to share their story, and for you to be able to say hey, I'm inspired, and what can I do? What am I doing? And what story do I have to tell? And what gifts do I have to share? And what superpowers am I bringing into this world? So tonight we have, again, myself, Brendon, aka Mystic Spider-Man on Instagram, Skull Babylon on YouTube. We have Lise, aka we'll let them introduce themselves. Everyone's got a few different names. We got Lise, who does some amazing sound work, and we have Neil, who is one of the facilitators for Portal to Ascension. And we're going to be able to hear from them in the next couple moments in terms of the things they've been up to be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness and just the work that they have to share with the community. So again, when we do these broadcasts, part of the intention is for us to really be able to continue to move the story forward, and to be able to help bring people into a common place of understanding in terms of what the project is moving towards, and how you too can support it, how you can be involved, and just being able to practice documenting where we are at as a collective. And every time that we're here, there's always something new happening. A lot can happen within a week. And just taking a quick moment just to be able to acknowledge that last night we did a super beautiful community co-created guided meditation, which was really a first within the project. And I'll just kind of explain this real quick, because there's going to be a lot of people who are tuned into this who probably didn't get a chance to listen to the meditation, but we'll talk a bit about it tonight during the broadcast. But again, it was a community co-created meditation where myself, Brianna, Rose, our fellow leading members, basically we walked the listener through this story, something that we've done many times within the broadcast in the past through guided meditations. But then we would basically, I take them to a point, and then we pass the talking stick over to Brianna, and then Brianna continues the story, and then we pass it over to Rose, and then Rose continues the story, and then from there we just created this like really dynamic experience that, again, as far as I know, I think that might have been a first on the internet. And in particular, what I mean is just the idea of like people showing up and like telling a collective story through passing the talking stick and doing this style of meditation. Not to say it's never been done, but it might have been the first time that like a community had done that through a specific intentional online guided meditation. So really, really proud of that. Really, really just like proud of the entire team with how that flowed. And I know Lise was able to tune into the broadcast last night, and they were talking to me earlier just about some of their experience. Totally inviting them to be able to share that as we get into the discussion. So we're going to pass the talking stick around to Lise and to Neil. And I apologize, I should have done the thing at the beginning where I'm like, yo, let's all unmute our microphones and make some noise. So let's do that now, because it's never too late. So Lise and Neil, go ahead, gently unmute your microphones and send out some love, make some noise. Go ahead and let the people know that you're here. All right, awesome. So with that said, like I said, I got lots to talk about in terms of the website stuff, but I want to be able to introduce our leading members here. And again, if you're interested in just being involved in this project and you're just like, yo, how do I get involved with these broadcasts? Maybe I got something I want to talk about. I want to be in this space. Check out our Patreon. That is where you can sign up as a leading member. You can join the team chat through the main website, and through joining as a leading member, you'll get access to the rest of the team chat. Huge thank you to our Patreon supporters again for making this possible. If you enjoy this broadcast, if this is your first time, be sure to check out more on the Patreon and learn about how you can support and the perks and the discounts there as well. So with that said, we're going to pass it over to who wants to go first. Lise, I know you have to head out eventually, but we'll try and get everybody in as soon as we can and chat as much as possible. Lise, Neil, whoever wants to go first, just give me a quick wave. I think.
All right.
All right, we'll let Neil go first.
first.
All right, so again, we're passing it over to Neil. Neil does some super amazing work, but I'll let him tell you more about it. So Neil, give us some updates on what's been happening in terms of the production work on your end with Portal to Ascension. And
sure, bro.
Go ahead, brother.
So I had a realization a few days ago that I'm addicted to producing events. I can't stop producing, bro. We have around 110 events throughout this entire year, pretty much one every single week. And just in the last few days, I created another 10 events going up until March. And if you guys don't know what we are, what we do, my name is Neil. I'm the founder of Portal to Ascension. Created this organization around 10 years ago now. And it started with small meditation events that started going into all-day conferences and sound healing events. When I was getting into all this information, I was really looking for the root of all religion. So the reason why this whole thing started in the beginning was I wanted to find out why there were so many similarities in religion and why we always talk about what divides us when there's so many similarities from Hinduism to Christianity and so on and so forth. By doing that, I went down the rabbit hole of awareness where I started delving into the ancient alien theory and extraterrestrials in the scriptures and the elite and what they've done to us. And through this, I would attend many conferences. And the conferences I attended, I met many presenters that are on the circuit. A lot of the people from Ancient Aliens were some of the first people on my conference circuit. And I started creating events with them. I was doing meditation, sound healing events, just spiritual stuff. And then I started creating these events with individuals that were presenting 2 to 3 hour in-depth intensive presentations on these topics. For the last 4 years, I moved from doing live events to doing almost entirely online events. So around 75 to 80% of our events right now are online through our online university, which is like a webinar platform. It's kind of like Netflix for consciousness, but presentations in which you actually get to interact with the speakers and have Q&As at the end of the presentation. So we have around 100 of those events scheduled from now up until March. But what I'm really excited about is the last 2 years I've been attempting to get back into live events, because even though I love the online events, especially because there are people from all over the world. Like I had a family from India 2 years ago. Some the father of the family in India emailed me saying that him and his family would get together once a week to watch webinars on our platform when there was internet on the weekend in their town. That literally there was no internet except for the weekend, but they would gather together and they would watch like a Stephen Greer event we would do or something like that. And I was like, how amazing is that? Being in California, we're oversaturated with this information. So creating this online platform has allowed us to go to the corners of the planets and off planet. I've had people in Kazakhstan email me, from Russia, some places where this information is censored and they have to go around and try to figure out a way to get our information. So doing these online events has allowed us to get into communities all over the world. But then the live events, the energy from doing these live events are phenomenal, because it's like a call to action. When we all get there, we all come from all over the world, and we end up in this one place in order to heal, align, and empower ourselves so that we can make real change on Earth and live in harmony with ourselves, each other, and the planet and the cosmos, right? So I've been attempting to get back into live events, but the whole thing with live events is it's not as easy as doing something online where there's almost zero overhead cost. You know, there's a lot of logistics involved in doing live events. So this year, after a few years of basically falling on my ass a few times trying to create these live events, we've now created a few events this year that I'm extremely excited about. We have the Forbidden Tour, which is the Forbidden Tour, four with the number Forbidden with the number four, the Forbidden Tour with Billy Carson. We're going to be in Austin, Asheville, Atlanta, and Sedona this year. And then we'll move on to 2021, but those are the ones that we've created. And then I have the True World History Conference in Atlanta. For years, people have been saying, why don't you do something on the East Coast of the US? Because everything, there's so many consciousness events in California. We're really spoiled when it comes down to it. And the East Coast, they don't have as many. So people have been saying, why don't you do something on the East Coast? And it really was never feasible for us because obviously I got to fly out there, I got a hotel. There's a lot of things involved in just doing it over there, whereas I can do one down the street where I live, right? So finally, we're doing a conference on the East Coast as an experiment to see how it does. It's going to be in Atlanta on May 16th, and it's called the True World History Conference Atlanta. And you can attend it live or you can live stream it. And the website is trueworldhistoryatlanta.com. And the speakers there are going to be Billy Carson, Trisha McCannon, William Henry, Justin DeChamps of Stillness in the Storm, Donnie Arcade, who is a conscious musician, and myself. And we're going to be going through basically the slogan is uncovering ancient wisdom and creating a new tomorrow. So we're going to be going over in-depth ancient wisdom, from Hermetic knowledge to ancient Egypt to Atlantis, archaeological evidence, forbidden archaeology, even sound and vibration and how it was used by the ancients. And the whole purpose for this is to start our global effort to create true world history conferences worldwide, one-day events, so that we can start informing the public about our ancient history. And the key component of why we're teaching about our ancient history is because we are so fragmented from the actual truth of our ancient history. Even history as close as 100 years ago, we've been lied to about. That now there's too much evidence to deny that what we've been fed as the conventional timeline of humanity is completely incorrect, or quite a bit incorrect. So now we're exploring these possibilities to see what the reality is and teach the masses about it. Because when we learn about our ancient past and how advanced we were, we realize the arrogance of thinking that we're the most advanced that we've ever been on this planet, the most advanced species that have ever existed, is actually not the case at all. And the evidence suggests that there have been civilizations in the past, whether it's 13,000 years ago or even 26,000 years ago, that were much more advanced than us. And some civilizations have been completely wiped from the planet, that has been extremely difficult to find out any information about them. And we have no idea how advanced they were, but we do have scriptures saying that there were spacefaring civilizations, right? And we are only attempting to go to other planets now. So these are the kind of topics that we're going to explore. Now, this is pretty much what we explore on our platform anyway, but it ultimately goes down into the evolution of consciousness. All of this information, whether it's conscious nutrition, sacred sexuality, UFO disclosure, what the elites have done, the exposing of the Federal Reserve and how we don't even own our own money in the US. All of that funnels back into the evolution of consciousness, informing the masses so that we can create this awakened society and take our power back and live on peace in harmony. And that's what we're up to.
Sweet. Awesome. Dude, thank you so much for sharing, man. Like I love just being able to like hear the excitement in your voice cuz again, like myself, I know this is your life. This is your life work, you know? Like this is your devotion. This is your this is just you like doing what it is that you're called to do, and I really feel that and I really resonate with that, man, and I appreciate like just again the intricacy of all like the behind the scenes that it takes to keep this well oiled machine running,
Yeah.
and it takes a lot. And as a fellow captain amongst captains, I
Hmm.
really appreciate the work that you do to be able to help coordinate and bring people together. And man, those are some big names that you were dropping there. Like even like again, like Billy Carson, like there's a 90% of the people who are probably listening to this broadcast have probably like seen one of their posts through Instagram. Again, there's a big Instagram profile that Billy's got, that's Forbidden Knowledge,
Yeah.
like spelt with a 4. And again, this is Billy has also produced, like he has like several books that he's released and everything like that. Huge influential name that a lot of people really really look up to. And the fact that again, like you and him like have this connection on a very personal level where you're working alongside him and you're helping him get his work out there and his message out there. And he's such a great speaker. Like I've seen some of his videos in the past, and again, even like Donnie Arcade, who again a lot of people probably aren't familiar with, but like if you look up Donnie Arcade, Donny Arcade on Instagram,
Epic.
Donnie Arcade is again like close friends with Billy as well, but like both of them, but Donnie in particular, really similar to you, Neil, really merges like a lot of like the hip hop themes
Yes.
with esoteric knowledge, and does it with the intention to be able to help inspire people and uplift. And again, that's something that this world needs. So, dude, that's super super exciting, man. And again, obviously we can totally dive into that more, man, but I really appreciate the work you do and just having you on the team. And again, just like I know both of us are just like so busy that like there hasn't fully been the opportunity for us to like collaborate on some like more like deeper
Yeah.
levels, but man, it's gonna happen when the time is right. And I have your back 100%,
Dude,
man.
thank
So
you.
yeah, man, likewise. And again, just for everybody here, really inviting you to be able to check out portal2ascension.com. If you're on the Facebook or on the YouTube, refresh the video right now and check the info for this video. I've already updated with the information for Lise and for Neil, so you can find the website to Portal to Ascension right there and check it out. Again, as I was saying earlier, check out Paradigm Shift Central while you're listening to this. Check out Portal to Ascension. Both of them are very similar in the sense that they're like this infinite archive of content. And again, Neil really brings some very specific content in terms of the value available through these presentations at an incredibly affordable cost. So, dude, is there anything else you just want to mention real quick before we pass it over to Lise?
No, I just want to say that right now there's a lot of craziness in the world. It's very intense, and all I really want to say is not to go into any fear about what's occurring. But right now we're having a lesson in order to realize that truly our happiness and our passion comes from within us, and we can't rely on external reality in order to create that for ourselves. So whether you're afraid of a virus or afraid of like your check tomorrow, it's really about creating that energy within you and realizing where this fear comes from, and just keeping your health up, keeping your immune system up, because there's a lot of things happening in the world right now, and the world seems to want to disempower us, or not the world, but all of these constructs seem to want to disempower us on every level. And it's up to us to empower ourselves. And when we all empower ourselves individually, we click that collective synergy. That's when we can really make some change on Earth.
I love it, man. I love it. I love it. Absolutely, dude. Again, you're right. Just like now is the time where, again, the problems are the solution. So if you're just like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? Like take care of yourself, start eating healthier, start exercising, get the sunshine when you can,
Mhm.
connect with other communities of like-minded people that are going to remind you of these things, reprogram your mind, listen to conscious content, educate yourself. This is important. Don't just follow the mainstream, because we all know where that goes. So again, follow the path that may be less traveled, but ultimately are something that is going to be able to help you carve your own path. And again, just really inspiring people to be kind to themselves, be kind to each other, and we can get through this together. And again, this is the perfect reality, and this too is unfolding in ways that are helping us expand our consciousness and help us grow. So again, really just encouraging and supporting people to be aware again, without us even having to really just like get into a whole conversation about what is happening in the state of the world these days, because I'm sure people have heard quite a bit about it, but just very simply, again, be aware of like how you're carrying that information, and are you carrying it from a place that is disempowering, or are you carrying it from a place that is empowering? Because the
Exactly.
ultimate thing that I'll say is that this goes for anything, and I've said this before, but it's a valuable reminder, is that whatever is happening in your life in the bigger picture, it is a choice to be able to see it from either a disempowering perspective or an empowering perspective. So if you're seeing something and you're feeling it from a disempowering perspective, that just means that you're looking at it from the quote unquote wrong way. So if that's the case, then start looking for the other ways that you can look for it. And again, sometimes you need to hear conversations from people on broadcasts like these and other videos where, again, what it going to do? It's going to give you something you haven't thought about before, and it's going to shift your paradigm, because that's exactly what we need. So we need to be able to change the way we're looking at the story, change the way we're looking at our place within the story, and change the way that we're creating the story.
Mm-hmm.
So what story do we want to be able to create? Again, let's create a story where a bunch of us are leading our vanguards in terms of just being able to be like, yo, like, let's live healthy lives. Let's live kind lives. Let's live creative lives. We're like, we don't need a virus to kind of like kick us in the butt, but unfortunately, sometimes we do. And hey, if anything, maybe this is just another wake up call. And if you look at, again, I'm going to pass it to Lisa in a second, but just to conclude my thought here, take a look at anything that's happened over the past months and then the month before that. If it wasn't one thing, it was another thing. And if it wasn't another thing, it was something else. But each and every single one of those things, be it the fires, be it this, be it that, again, there was the opportunity for us to be able to wake up as a result of it, for something to be able to come into attention, for something to be able to be brought to the spotlight. And so, yeah, this is a time for us to be able to come together in a metaphorical and literal sense, though of course be sure to wash your hands when you do, because you should have been doing that to begin with. But nonetheless, this is a chance for us to be able to grow and evolve as a team. So thank you again, Neil. And again, for anybody listening to this, portaltoascension.org and Portal to Ascension on Instagram, and also connect with Neil on Facebook. Links for that are in the video info for YouTube. And Neil will probably, if you're around or later, Neil does a lot more than what he mentioned in terms of like conscious hip hop stuff and just like a lot of lyric stuff. So Neil has like a lot of other stuff in terms of his like MC hip hop stuff, and he'll if you stick around long enough, he might be able to drop a sample for you. So Neil, all right, thank you again, man. Anything else real quick before we pass it
No,
off?
I'm good. Let's move on.
All right, man, moving on. All right, so with that said, we're going to pass it over to Lise. Lise, thank you again for your patience for joining us. Again, I know it's Lise is in the GMT time zone, and we try to keep things very open and expansive here across many realms within this earth plane. And so I know it's late for you, Lise. Thank you so much for joining in, and please go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us what you do, what you offer for the community, and yeah, from there we can kind of segue into some thoughts on last night's meditation, what we were talking about there as well. So Lise, thank you again so much for being here, for being a leading member. Passing it over to you. Go ahead.
Cool. Hi to anyone who's watching now, later on. Yeah, so my work is focused around voice, and I'm kind of really exploring the vocal journey in a number of different ways. So I call myself a holistic vocal practitioner. So that work, my attention really becomes divided between community music facilitation, supporting groups to build and develop confidence in using their voices. It's really very broad. It can be anything from like skills in performance, songwriting, improvisation, which I'd love to talk about a little bit maybe later on, which is a great tool. And then I do research on voice as well. I've just come back from Mongolia where I was learning throat singing, and I'm really engaged with the idea of the voice as a self-development tool, finding ways and means to access like a deeper healing through that as well, through different ways of vocalizing and sounding. And then in my own creative practice, I'm working with improvisation mainly as my toolkit. and as a form of expression and form and structure. And that has two distinct projects, one of which is called Truth Seeker, and the other one is called Dram for a Song. So they're both quite distinct, but very much merging together different genres, uh, but also different forms and styles of vocalization. So the work that's kind of underpinning all of this stuff is focused around this idea of the true voice, that we have a sound, a frequency that is specifically unique to us, and that the the journey and the process of working with the voice is a worthwhile one, and something that I feel really passionately about, and something that I feel I've had huge nourishment from. So in that respect, that's really like the kind of space that I'm trying to hold and facilitate for other people. Um, so that work, it has different strands to it, but the deeper elements of that, or the space in which it can reach a more spiritual quality, because some people want to come in through that angle. I'm applying like shamanic practice to that. So there's a lot of space for ritual ceremony and just beginning to explore a more grounded, rooted relationship with environment and with the space that we're inhabiting, and yeah, connecting with guides, which come in many guises, many forms. So I really find that deeper aspect of the work to be really interesting and really nourishing, and holding that kind of space for other people, it always looks different, it always has a different quality. People, like, resonate with different archetypes and um different kind of frameworks of understanding. So yeah, like all the stuff that's been mentioned so far, like that Neil's tapping into as well. Some people might be really deeply entrenched in like a grander, broader kind of cosmic field, whereas some people might be kind of aligned with particular archetypes that come from like a religious denomination, and some people are kind of working more from like a grounded practice and methodology that relates to like somatic awareness, body work, breath work. So it's vast, it's huge, and really like I'm always learning more from that every day. So it's kind of, it's a lifelong path on this spiral that's always taking me back to center. So I'm like always happy to um walk part of that journey and be a guide for other people in that process as well. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Lise, for the introduction. And do you want to just let people know where you're tuning in from, generally speaking?
Location wise or philosophy wise?
Oh, true, right? We'll start with location
So
wise.
yeah, I am living, and kind of my base is in Scotland, but I'm essentially like uh, living in Scotland, like based in Scotland, but working everywhere. So I'm a nomad, and I love to travel. And I actually worked out the other day that on average I'm moving home, like home base, every 2 weeks. So I'm kind of in sync with like new moon, full moon. And I realized on like over the last 4 years since finishing my masters and stuff, I've been staying places for 2 weeks and then moving on. So yeah, I'm kind of very fluid in my approach to like where I can go, and I love to travel. So yeah, I'm kind of trying to bed down in local areas and put events on, workshops and stuff like that. But I'm also trying to create retreat opportunities and learning opportunities and shared spaces, you know, wherever there is a receptive environment for that. So yeah, I'm nowhere and everywhere at the same time.
Perfect. Great answer. Cool. Awesome. Well, again, for those of you looking to connect with Lise, be sure to check out the links for them in the show notes as well. And again, Lise also, this is something we'll be talking a little bit about later, but Lise is also creating a Patreon. And again, I just want to mention that because a Patreon is something that we have. I have my own Patreon, and it's something that we're encouraging other members to create their own Patreon. But again, I really encourage you, even though there's still like there's more behind the scenes stuff. And again, this is stuff Lisa and I are going to kind of like do some more brainstorming on and everything like that. But again, I want to be able to let you know that if you're looking to be able to connect with Lise, start off on just connecting through Instagram. You can check out the website that they have shared as well, which again is I guess, is there a main website that you would direct them to, or what would be
Yeah, I mean, I
the
suppose
easiest?
this it comes down to curiosity. There might be particular links that like appeal to you. Basically, my Instagram at the moment is kind of my main drop in, and there's lots of different content on there. There's kind of sound journeys. I'm sharing kind of vocal practice, my own vocal practice. There's links on there to Facebook. So if you're like specifically interested in voice work and vocal development, vocal like pedagogy and methodology and practical stuff, Facebook is a good place for that. True Voice Creations, and there's kind of information on there. YouTube is kind of quite active and just sharing general stuff at the moment, and Instagram just is kind of like a drop in for links from all over the place. But yeah, and Patreon, basically there's a few different subscription options there that relate to different elements of voice work, and I'm kind of trying to merge and integrate that 5 element principle and theory, as it's explained and defined within like Eastern philosophy, Chinese medicine. So I've kind of taken that framework, and I've introduced my own vocal elements that I feel kind of fit in with those qualities. So they are all distinct route ways into voice work, because everyone's different, and some people want to come in, and explore the fire and their creativity. Some people want to come in and explore the spiritual element of voice, which is water. Um, there's like physical well-being and health as a practice, and how that supports voice. That's the wood element. I'm kind of trying to develop a deeper um, part of work, which is about alchemy through trauma release, and that's related to the metal element. So that's really being infused at the moment with field work from being in Mongolia, because I feel like there's a lot of interesting stuff there to feed into that. And then, yeah, the community stuff is the earth element. So that's kind of the event based.
Awesome.
Yeah. So there's stuff
Cool.
in there. Just, yeah, explore, drop me a message, send me an email. I'm old school at heart. So, yeah, drop me an email.
Sweet. So there you have, folks. Again, for those of you curious, just from what we've kind of sampled here so far and getting to know Lise, follow up, connect to their Instagram, Facebook, go through their Patreon, the main website, anything that you would prefer to do. And if you have any questions, please feel free to let them know. And so just kind of, and again, that's the simple links for that. For those of you just listening on audio, check the info, but in the YouTube. But again, Truth Seeker Sounds on Instagram, True Voice Creations on Facebook, and patreon.com/True Voice Creations. So I want to be able to segue here again, and just to be able to chat a little bit more with Lise. And then I want to be able to go over website updates just to be able to get everybody on the same page and share some really exciting news there. And then from there, we'll just kind of like take an opportunity to just kind of like chit chat some more. If there's anything Neil wants to jump in before we do that, or if either of you have to leave early, please feel free to do that. And before we do that though, last night during our guided community co-created meditation, manifestation, manifesto, magnificent, marvelous broadcast, it was really good, honestly. I wanted to be able to just Lise was actually sending me some voice messages earlier because they were tuning into the broadcast afterwards, And I guess without getting into spoilers, because that's one of the things that honestly with these meditations I want to be mindful of, is that like there's a bit of a story, so it's like you almost want people to experience uniquely and just like freshly for the first time. But Lise, please feel free to give us a little bit of feedback. And again, in terms of giving the feedback, this is feedback that, you know, us as a community can really celebrate. And again, that's just taking a moment here in terms of like why we do this broadcast. Again, we do this broadcast to inspire each other as a team, to charge up our spiritual batteries, our hearts, and to be able to celebrate what we are creating and the work that we are doing together. So Lise, inviting you to be able to help celebrate what the broadcast was like for you tuned into it. Please feel free to let us know. And again, for those of you who haven't heard the broadcast, go to paradigmshiftcentral.com, scroll down, and you can find it as one of the recent broadcasts, or go to youtube.com/skullbabylon, or go to Paradigm Shift Radio on iTunes, and you'll be able to listen to it there. So Lise, passing it over to you. Tell us a little bit more, and you can kind of like reiterate what you mentioned to me on Facebook without the, you can mention some of the details, but maybe just do it in like a gentle way so it's not super spoily, I guess. So anyways, Lise, passing over to you. Give us some thoughts on how that meditation was, and pump it up for the people who haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, so just to mention, because of the way that that had been created as like a living container with narrative being shared between different people, and it being a kind of, the story evolves and each person has their opportunity to kind of share a specific quality, but that there is like a dialogue still going on between um, those stories, although that they're distinct. That really brought forward a very like special feel, you know, that the energy was tangible in that sense. So um, listening on replay or even tuning into that kind of thing live, I would definitely encourage you to give yourself the luxury of like a really properly nourishing space, because I'm guilty for it as well. Sometimes I will sit and I will like, all right, okay, meditation, and I'll just kind of stick it on in the background, and you know, I'm not like fully locked in, but I found myself like I really wanted to focus on that. So I did give myself that time and space to be in uninterrupted and to really connect with the visualizations and words that were coming through. And yeah, the result was yeah, a really powerful session, and the space was held really well. um, and yeah, I think the pace as well, just it just seemed to really work. Like the sensitivity of listening, obviously, between folk that were kind of experiencing but also waiting to contribute, meant that there was just a really nice flow between all of those different dialogues. So yeah, and you know, I think because the space has been opened up in a kind of relaxed way, ultimately, it really does allow you to be able to connect with it on a level that works for you. Because I didn't really have like a preempted idea of like what I would feel or experience. And I definitely didn't expect, at one point I was actually transported to a kind of memory state, but I was still going through and following the visualization process that was being
Yeah.
offered, which was quite specific, like scene setting, but it actually,
Yeah, you can go into specifics there, because this is like, so Lisa's talking about an opening scene. This is like the very beginning, so it's like we like take you into a garden and then stuff happens. But yeah, tell us how that's
is,
relevant, because I thought it was really cute. It was
yeah,
really
it is totally cute, which is like so embarrassing, but it brought me like back to a real garden and a space that I was in and loved to be in as a child, and like was really fortunate to stay in this really heavily forested place that was kind of in the middle of nowhere. And I had this like sort of little entrance into the forest, which was where I would go to like connect with fairies and elementals, and there was like a little stream running through it, and just really scenic kind of place that was immediately the visualization that came to mind when this kind of trees and outdoor space and kind of a sacred space, I guess, was mentioned. So in this process of kind of being dropped into that like physicality and memory, I was kind of able to really, I suppose, relive elements that maybe I haven't connected with in a long time, which was really nice. And yeah, that just allowed me to kind of fully indulge in that experience and kind of feel more physically connected to that as well. So I was able to kind of introduce some like breath work, which kind of was really nice. And then it shifted and someone else took over, and that narrative took me to another physical place that I have in memory, someone who has been in my life but is no longer. So there was some really powerful stuff that came through, and I think in unexpected ways, because quite often I will listen to like guided meditation and visualization, and I do a lot of body work, breath work, movement stuff in relation to voice. So I'm quite familiar with kind of being guided into a state of awareness of just like breathing and focus and intention, but there was like another depth to that, which actually kind of allowed me to totally go on a little trippy ride, which was, yeah, it was really cool. I'm like looking forward to seeing how these evolve because I think it was a good structure. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And have you been able to tune into some of the meditations that like I've done full length ones in the past, or was that your first?
I did.
Like
I did
of a paradigm shift meditation.
really early on when I first joined. I guess this would have been in like January, maybe.
Okay.
There was a full moon one there, which was it was like a guided story,
Yeah.
and I did do that one, and that was cool. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's like there was that, but it was sort of it was amplified
Nice.
with more energies and more like more being stirred into the pot, basically. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you again so much for your feedback. That's exactly, again, like the type of, I don't want to just call it a testimonial, but again, an account of an experience that we create these meditations for. There's a lot that can happen with these meditations, and I want to be able to pass over to Neil in a second, just be able to get some of their thoughts on the power of us as leaders conducting these guided meditations, these stories and everything like that. Because again, I kind of talked about this last night in the broadcast, and I'll just mention this briefly and then we'll kind of segue for a bit. But it's a fascinating conversation, and I know even just people in the comment, like I hope this inspires you to go check out the meditation and past ones when you get a chance. But for me, like the idea of meditation is really this idea of being able to like learn how to access this supercomputer, aka our brain and our consciousness, that we very rarely actually tap into. Like throughout your busy day, how often do you actually just like slow down completely, connect with your breath, go inside, and then like practice seeing what you can do there? A lot of times we literally don't. So it's like this muscle that doesn't get flexed. So it's like that's why the meditation is literally an exercise, and it can be very surprising and very rewarding for people to be like, whoa, like it felt like a waking dream. Like there was like a level of realness to that actually evoked experience, that evoked emotion, and it changed me. Like something happened from that. And that's where again, thinking of meditation and even just our bodies as like this advanced form of spiritual technology, when we drop into these shared spaces of meditation, it's very similar to logging into virtual reality together. And so this is like kind of using our inner technology to be able to access these spaces. And what's beautiful is that there's still so much mystery for us to explore, and especially when we start getting into the idea of projecting shared intentions and being able to like focus our attentions towards different narratives or different vibrations that we want to send out into the world. And so that's where again, I've been very passionate about doing these guided meditations. We've been doing these for years. Like the amount that I've done, I've lost track. but it's always really, really important, again, just to be able to help other people receive these experiences and for them to get excited about these meditations, and for, again, these meditations to serve a variety of purposes, where it can be both inspirational, it can be healing, it can be cathartic, it can be purely just for like relaxation and regulation. So again, for those of you who haven't yet, feel free to go check out the recent one, or even if you want to check out some of the past ones beyond that, I really encourage you to do. A lot of the ones I've done are like really dynamic stories with a variety of just like different plots to them. And again, the one that we did most recently on March 10th was a co-created one between myself and Brianna and Rose, some of our leading members. And the fact that people really enjoyed that and it went really nicely, we'll be doing more of those. And again, I know Lise was actually almost able to sync up with that, and I'm looking forward to being able to have Lise involved, plus anybody else interested, with future guided meditations we do, presumably even if it is on the full moon, or if we just schedule in some bonus ones. It really depends, but be sure to stick around for that. And again, at the very least, keep an eye open for the next meditation on the full moon. And if the community wants it, we'll do another co-created one. And honestly, like, doing it as a co-created one, I enjoy it for multiple reasons. And even just the fact that when I'm doing it purely by myself, that's a heavy load. Like that's a lot of production that goes into that. That's like basically like, writing a movie script essentially. But when we do it as a team, it's kind of like co-creating it, and we can kind of like partition the load. So this is a good opportunity for us to do a co-created meditation. And again, huge applause to the team, to the Paradigm Shift Central community in general, for adding your support to the leading members. And definitely stay tuned for more of those. So again, I wanted to be able to go over updates in the website, and we'll do some on screen for those of you tuned in on YouTube and Facebook, so that you can see what we're looking at. But in the meantime, you can go ahead right now, like, you don't have to wait for me, and check out paradigmshiftcentral.com. But before we do that, just wanted to be able to, again, just allow us to get some more dialogue in, and this is just practice, right? Like, this broadcast, just to remind people, it's a chance for us to be able to practice talking about the things we don't always get a chance to talk about, such as trippy stuff like the potentials of guided meditation and visualization, and using our internet, our inner interconnected net. So I want to be able to pass over to Neil. And Neil, I'd just be curious for you to be able to add your voice, and why this is something that we as media creators can do more of, how this is serving the community. Anything else you want to add to this topic? Go ahead, Neil, jump right in.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of times we find ourselves on the grind and nonstop. And I've been there too. Like, I literally am on the grind so much that 2 weeks later, I'm like, whoa, where did the time go? I was just like caught up in it. And a lot of times when we're caught up in things and we're emotionally triggered from them, and we're not taking time to take care of ourselves, we're just caught up in it. You might have a task to do, you might have a deadline to achieve. If you just spend 2 weeks doing that task and just completely are immersed in it, and just like have full of anxiety trying to get it done, chances are it won't be done as well as if you took a step back, took a deep breath, maybe even meditated, and approached that from that same angle. So now, in regards to guided meditation, there's so much out there. Like, YouTube has hundreds of thousands of videos that, if you're not even into specific guided meditations, you can search and research and find something that suits you. Me personally, I'm not into guided meditation as much. So when somebody is trying to like guide me, like for example, step on the train, go up the elevator, see the light, I'm not into that as much. My technique is vocal toning. That I love to when somebody's doing a guided meditation, basically it's an external voice that you are processing within your own mind in order to follow it, so you can receive some sort of inner peace, which is amazing. But what also works is your own voice, because you can have that own sound frequency within yourself, and you can create all types of levels of consciousness. And so when I was on with you guys last time, I think I spoke about chanting the chakra seed sounds, which is good, and then even chanting the vowels. We spoke about that. I love doing that, and moving your energy in your body. They say now science is now catching up with the esoteric wisdom that we have three brains. We have our brain in our head, we have the brain in our heart, we have the brain in our gut. And they've even said that the synaptic connections within our heart are actually more than we have in the brain. So it looks like our heart area is actually even more active than our brain is. So, but we don't really give it credit or give it energy. Through guided meditations, through taking a step back, to taking a deep breath, believe it or not, just like breathing into your heart and breathing out, you activate that brain. You have the ability to move your energy from one area to another. What's worked for me is an example I'll give is I was at Rhythmia 2 months ago and doing ayahuasca, and I literally was like shitting bricks on my third ceremony because I was scared, right? I was like, I have no idea where I was going to go, and all of a sudden I started like going, just humming. Mm, and when you hum like that, your brain can't think of all these other thoughts. You still have thoughts, but you're not like when you're just like short breath and thinking about like where you could go and how afraid you are, like your brain just keeps just fractal creating that thing even more and more. But all of a sudden, all I could concentrate on was on the humming. And then from the buzzing in my head that was like nervousness, all of a sudden I felt my heart open. So you have the ability to do that through meditation. But I would like to just add this component to it is it's really easy to take a step back, and we may think it isn't, but what you really need to make like your cornerstone at home is, or in your life, is that when you are relaxed and not full of anxiety, you are able to confront reality at a more present and a more productive level. So taking a step back, meditating, whether it's a guided meditation, whether it's your own chanting, whether it's washing the dishes because that's what you love to do in order to take a break from reality, taking a step back and doing something like that, or even something you love, allows you to be able to be a more productive member of society. That's my take on it.
Awesome. Thank you, Neil. Very well said. And again, like I love the idea of just being able to work, approach the meditation again as something that can be like very fun and experimental. And again, using the vocal tonations, which again brings it right back to Lise. Again, just the potential of that. Like that's something where if you're out like taking a walk and everything like that, how often are we walking and we're just kind of like, silent and everything like that? But maybe if you just kind of start using those moments in your day where you're not talking to someone, you're not preoccupied, use those moments to kind of like practice using your vocal tonation. And then when you get into meditation, you can use those tonations and those vocal frequencies as focal points, as lotuses, as something to bring your attention back to. And again, that's very simply put, again, for those of you who may be perhaps a little bit newer to the meditation than others, sometimes it can be like, a lot to kind of throw at you. But very simply put, these meditation techniques involving sound and tonation and stuff like that, you can think of them as, like tools. You can think of them as methods to be able to help you maintain a degree of like, not necessarily control, but you're like choosing where your focus is going. You're choosing like how to be able to like, move the energy. So again, whereas the energy might be all over the place and thinking about pizza 90% of the time, because I mean that's what my meditation is. It's just like I can't not, right? It's in my DNA. But nonetheless, if I'm like having a vocal tonation, then pizza kind of just floats away, but it focuses on the tone. And then as you're doing that, you can kind of begin overlaying your focus, and so the tone's kind of now in the background, and then you start focusing like in addition to that. So it's something that can become, again, very advanced and very evolved. And this is where you, very simply put, and I'll pass over to Lise just a little bit and we'll wrap this up, because again, I think this is valuable information and inspiring information, people listening to this. One of the simplest ways I've explained meditation, if I was trying to like sell someone on it and be like, hey, like you should do this during your day, what I would explain to them is this idea of, like meditation is like tuning your instrument before you start playing it, So if you think first thing in the morning, if you wake up and maybe depending on how you wake up, maybe you didn't wake up with the best mood or something like that, or just, your focus is a little bit off, that means your instrument is not as tuned as it could be. And then you go out there into the world and you start interacting, and you can get by, you can manage, you can be at that baseline, but your instrument might kind of be a little wonky, and it might be like, assuming you're violent, right? You can be whatever you want. But again, if you're like taking literally just 5 minutes to tune your instrument and kind of treating your body as, again, something as treated as if you were, like a musician about to perform in front of a concert or something like that. Prepare, show up with that little bit of extra care, and you'll be able to bring that into your performance, into the way that you show up into life. So that's a simple way of just being able to say, like straight up 5-10 minutes of meditation in the morning specifically will change the rest of your day. It's a fractal. It kind of like holographically affects the rest of you. And again, it helps you get into that state where as the stresses arise within your life, you have more control over where your energy goes. And again, kind of going back to the stuff of like where society is at and everything, use that as a chance where like if you feel yourself if you feel your focus literally being conducted by the mainstream media or whatever narratives are being pulled and stuff like that, use that as a cue for your meditation practice, and just being able to say like, oh, like where is my focus right now, and where do I want my focus to be right now? And again, bring it back to your breath, bring it back to you, bring it back to your heart song, bring it back to just like being in this moment. So
yeah,
meditation is such a powerful thing. Neil, was there anything else you wanted to add into that? And then we'll pass over to Lise. And then again, I want to get into like website updates, and we'll wrap this broadcast up probably within the next 35 minutes.
Just to add to that.
1 second. I just got to pull up your microphone audio. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, just to add to that is another example. I just picked up a part-time gig last week, and I went for an interview. And I've been doing vocal chanting now, like, well, I've known about it for years, but I've been actually actively doing it for like a good 3 to 4 months, like pretty often. And whenever I'm like, okay, I don't really feel nervous because I've really dealt with a lot of things that make me feel nervous when I go to interview. I don't have this like hierarchy feeling of the person interviewing me. So, but at the same time, like, you want to make a good impression. You want to talk to this person and make them know that you are worthy of being there and that you can do the job right. So when I was going there, I just started chanting hum, which is the heart chakra sound, and then just started chanting E, which was like resonating in my throat. And all the energy, like I was just completely still after that. And I just did it it was a 15-minute drive. I just started when I left and when I got there. And when I got there, I did 3 ohms. And then I just walked in, and I got to tell you, like, I feel like was going to do good anyway, but I feel like I killed it because of the chanting that I was doing. It completely made me so centered that nothing could phase me. And I was doing hum because I was doing E for like the throat and the third eye and stuff, and om for like being the intuition. But I was doing hum because I wanted to be compassionate and have that love. So I was doing hum and ah and opening up my heart, and it really works. Like, this is a science. You can read a book from Jonathan Goldman called The Humming Effect. That one will tell you all about the science behind it, and this works. So just want to second what we're talking about here in regards to vocal chanting.
Yeah, again, it's interesting because again, it'd be cool. I'll just throw in a quick comment and then we'll pass it to Lise. Like what if, like, if people, again, just painting the picture of where we are in culture and everything like that, but again, reinforcing a positive message. What if like we, or God forbid, the mainstream media was actually just like, oh, like, just like, if you want to be like you're the cure, not like I'm putting cure in like quotation marks or something like that, but it's just like, oh, like all you have to do in order to be able to like save the world is to spend 10 minutes meditating. Like, what if that was it? But in a way it kind of is, because again, when you change the way that you show up just through practicing meditation, it doesn't have to be every day, but again, like even just kind of like finding that moment of zen for you. But there have been studies that have shown that, again, meditation, when combined with just like healthy activity, mindfulness, good diet, and everything like that, can literally like strengthen your immune system and things. And that's kind of what I'm getting at, where again, just the idea of being able to like regulate your body, not give into those moments of fear where it's just kind of like, you're kind of like out of control, like not to say out of control, but again, if you're like more in a state of anxiety opposed to feeling into that place of centeredness, practicing meditation can be able to help you be in that place of centeredness. And when you're in that place of centeredness, when you're in that place of calmness, you're in that place of homeostasis, which is when the body becomes like, when the body naturally repairs itself and then naturally can fight like off like different like diseases and things like that. So Neil, maybe can you reinforce that idea just to make sure I'm not blowing smoke out of my ass? Does meditation actually like coincide with other stuff and can actually increase your immune system? Can we say that? Like, is that, I just want to make sure, like, again, I'm not trying to like put weird information out there, but I mean, logically for me, it makes sense too. And Lisa, I don't know if you have any thoughts on this. Can we agree on something there?
There are definitely studies out there that have showed that meditation has been able to shift the collective consciousness, whether it's the Maharishi effect that has reduced the crime rate when many people were meditating. But when it comes to chanting and sound healing meditation, there's been evidence that I wish I would remember the name. It's in the foreword of Jonathan Goldman's book, but there's this chemical that gets released. All right, so you got to take my word on this because I forget the name of the chemical. But when you're chanting and when you're doing vocal toning, the humming effect actually has an effect on your nostrils that creates this chemical there that has an effect on reversing sicknesses and is also the precursor of serotonin. So there is evidence to suggest that actual chanting creates the chemicals and the hormonal makeup that actually releases serotonin, which makes you happy.
So I'm going to jump in on
Yeah,
that thread.
please do.
Because there's a few different strands to what's being said, and they all relate. Just a quick point on meditation as a practice, because obviously it can look so many different ways. I think that's the beauty of it, is finding a practice that works for you and that defines what you feel to be connection, that is about either grounding work, releasing work, or kind of opening and activation. So there's always a different quality and potentiality to have, and just that is something that is very, very much can be like tailored to your needs. So it was just a quick point on that. But then coming into more specifically the sound stuff. So I'm an instrumentalist and musician, and that's like, for me, the act of participating and dialoguing with an instrument, for me, is a form of meditation. It's a form of release. It's a form of like uh, a time for me to have creative space, and I use improvisation as the tool, and I feel totally fired up about that, because today and yesterday I was collaborating with other improvisers in um, a, a space that was bringing dancers and kind of sound artists and musicians together. So it was really about a merging of disciplines and practice, and we were kind of setting tasks and then going through, states of play together, improvising, and then we would reflect on that and kind of unpick and discuss what we were doing, which was, it was an amazing process just to be with other practitioners with like specific disciplines, whether that was like movement or dance or theater or like music, and myself with voice work, and just hearing people like deconstructing like elements of, what it psychologically meant for them or emotionally. And then the deeper we got into the work, the more discussion there was about subtlety and energy, relational field. I mean, I could go on. It's just, it was so expansive, and you're working effectively. You're tuning into that collective consciousness of a space and setting an intention and a container to work in, and then starting to play with those ideas. So inevitably at some point there's going to be points of like breakthrough and transition and cause and effect, in that process. And for me, something really powerful that happened today, which I'll just share with you now because I've not really had the space to do that, and I feel it is relevant to the discussion, is we were working together as a group, and I was vocalizing, and I kind of moved at one point from amplification with a mic, and I like moved to the other side of the room, and then I found myself like called to lie on the floor, and we were working in a really big space with quite an interesting acoustic. And then so I started to vocalize, and maybe it was closer to a kind of toning quality, but it was really an open sound, kind of coming from the heart space. And then I kind of felt like a break coming, like there was some sort of emotional shift or energy that I felt was like kind of impulse that I needed to express and to work through. And as soon as I kind of was conscious of that, I was like, oh fuck, I need to move like through this feeling, and I need to actually continue to release this energy. And I was like, having the split second duality of thought form where you're basically observing from above, and hearing yourself at the same time as like the impulse and moment that you're creating something. So it was a very charged space, and yeah, so I kind of pushed through that barrier and like suddenly managed to like fill the whole room with this sound. And I actually like surprised myself that it was possible. But needless to say, um that was like a really like powerful shift for me, and using sound in yeah, like with a level of consciousness about like how is this going to impact on other people in the space, but equally kind of taking that back to how I would use sound as a kind of meditative tool, or just simply a tool to shift energy. It can look so many different ways. Last week I was up in the Highlands, and I had a bit of a rage coming on, and I needed to release it and express it. So I utilized that energy and that opportunity to release that in a way that I felt was like productive, but also giving myself permission to sound. The only point I would like to just mention around sound work, particularly with the voice, is that in approaching maybe like fully vocalized singing or anything that's related to like trauma release or big sound, just do a little bit of preparation work first, warm up wise, and that can be as basic as a physical application, because your body is your instrument. So it's stating the obvious in some respects, but you know, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you can cause unnecessary strain or damage. So that's just a little side note that I feel is always important to mention, just to kind of give yourself a moment to connect with breath and to kind of feel into where your body and your energy levels are before you embark on really like deep sound work. um but yeah, like everything you were mentioning earlier on about expressing in a space and outside, like if you're continuing to vocalize and have dialogue with your environment, you would be interested to kind of follow an intuitive process with like shamanic sound work. And yeah, just go out and sing to the trees, sing to the river, listen to it, feel the feedback. It's tangible, it's there, and it's a healing tool that I find to be, amazing. There's no limits really to it. So I would encourage you all to go out and play. Good.
Beautiful.
Good for the soul, good
Awesome.
for the planet.
Absolutely. Yeah. We need to play our instruments more often, I think. So absolutely. And so again, thank you, Lise and Neil, both for adding that. And again, just kind of going back to my point about the idea of like, can meditation boost your immune system? My point is meditation is a part of a healthy lifestyle, and a healthy lifestyle boosts your immune system. So again, being able to regulate your mood, being able to regulate just your ability to relax and to drop in, your ability to sleep better at night, all of those things are going to be able to add up to just overall better vitality and health and the things that you want within the dynamics of this world that we live in. So I want to be able to jump into some updates on the Paradigm Shift Central website. Before I do that, I just want to be able to give anybody else here a chance to be able to jump in. And then beyond that, we're probably going to wrap up the broadcast pretty soon. This isn't going to be a totally long one. Yeah, but at the meantime, before we go over the updates, Neil, Lise, is there anything else you want to mention? Well, I did just say, for everything that Lise was mentioning there, consider that, like, again, for those of you who are like, yo, like, yes, I want that, like, reach out to Lise, because that is, like, again, part of the services that Lise can assist you with kind of like getting into more of the vocal practice. And I'm sure Neil would have something to be able to ask, to be able to contribute there as well if you were to ask them. And again, just reach out through Instagram at the very least. But is there anything else either of you want to share, just like on this topic of, again, we were kind of got into this topic segueing from the topic of our story meditation as a community, and just the power of meditation? Anything else the audience should be keeping in mind before we segue out of this topic?
Sure, I'll say something. So I did a little research to find out what that chemical was, just because I wanted to
Oh,
throw it on the
perfect.
science. So it's nitric oxide. That's what gets created through vocal chanting. And the number one area of your body, it gets produced everywhere, but the number one area of your body that it gets produced is your nose. What happens when you chant and when you say ohms? You're actually resonating. If you're doing it right, you're resonating the area right here, creating a mass of nitric oxide. What nitric oxide does is it helps is beneficial for physical activity, supports the blood vessels and increases blood flow, promotes sexual performance. So I guess it does have to do with happiness, right? And let's see. Oh yeah, if you it also helps with inflammation. So if you have, and we're finding out now that most sicknesses actually are rooted in inflammation. So having higher nitric oxide lowers inflammation. People with diabetes have very low nitric oxide. Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and a multitude of other mental disorders are all low nitric oxide. So vocal chanting is literally scientifically proven to create the nitric oxide flow. And the book, The Humming Effect, talks about the science and the PhDs behind all of this. And if you have these illnesses, like my dad has Parkinson's disease, and he's not really open to spirituality, but I'm kind of edging away at him. And honestly, I really firmly believe that if he chanted every day and increased his nitric oxide levels, he would have a better chance at fighting this, you know? So
Yeah.
it definitely creates this in your body.
So not only that, but from the breath work point of view,
Mhm.
which is like a whole other amazing topic. But yeah, I think the one thing I took away from doing like specific exercises when I was trying to apply like new understandings of like the overtone throat singing, because the process of embarking on that learning journey was about having to relearn mechanical processes and find new ways of interacting with the body entirely. But um the point was raised to me a few times by teachers like, this is amazing for your circulation, for your heart health, for the list goes on. I feel like uh, I think singing and well-being is actually broadly under that heading. You'll find the most in terms of like academic based articles, but there is a lack of holistic literature that's kind of like bridging the scientific. So there is like definitely like a gap in that kind of that dialogue. So yeah, it's super interesting. Don't get me, I have to stop now, otherwise I'll continue on this subject forever. It's totally fascinating.
Absolutely. All right. Again, I appreciate everybody adding their voice to the conversation. And again, for those of you tuned in on the live chat as well, seeing your comments there, thank you so much. Sending so much love to everybody tuned into this. And again, just for your contributions, I see a lot of people just having fun with this broadcast. And again, this is just like branching into a much bigger topic, but I hope even just by us just talking about this tonight and talking about last night's broadcast, again, go out and meditate, practice meditating, find a way that you can kind of bring more of that in. And again, like, not even just meditating, vocalization, practice connecting to your voice, practice connecting to your ability to again, use the power of your voice to literally create within this reality. There's one thing, and this is just like kind of a bit of a tangent, but man, like, there's been some fascinating stories that I've heard from like DMT trip reports and things like that. Well, actually, it was like Terrence McKenna, now that I think about it, but it was like a story Terrence McKenna shared where basically he was talking about like when he was in this DMT space, and there were the like the DMT elves or the entities within this dimension. And again, DMT as like a psychedelic experience, as a drug that you can smoke, or again, it's naturally produced in the brain. when you sleep, when you're born, when you die. But again, if you smoke this as a drug, which is illegal, and we're not encouraging that, but again, the idea of the experience is incredibly fascinating. And basically, when he was in this space, this other dimension, this parallel realm, there were these entities, and they were teaching him, and they were like showing him how to create things with the power of voice, with the power of sound. And I just remember, like, in typical Terrence McKenna fashion, you know, it's just like, and these strange, peculiar beings were showing me objects, and they said, do this, create with your voice. Like, that's not the best. I got practice my Terrence McKenna impersonation. The gnomes have learned a new way to say who. That's like the start of a Schmongle song right there. Anyways, some of you will get that. But again, in other dimensional planes, not just within DMT space, even in the dream realms, your voice creates reality. And tune into some of, you know, like some of the lectures that Neil has available through Portal to Ascension, and I'm sure you'll hear people like Billy Carson talking about, you know, the power of how they've used sound techniques for levitating things and just like all sorts of other crazy aspects within this reality. So again, sound is this incredibly powerful thing, and the fact that, you know, this is another little note, and we'll just kind of wrap it up here. The reason why, just to really dial home the idea of how powerful your voice is, your voice box, or your larynx, or whatever it is, whatever the scientific name is literally shaped like a Vesica Pisces. And again, the Vesica Pisces is the shape of like the seed, or in this case, your larynx, your like throat, literally looks like a vagina. And if you think about it from that, the reason why I'm saying that is because the vagina is literally something that is like meant as a portal for birthing things into this reality. So therefore, do you think it's a coincidence, or do you think it's a synchronicity, or do you think it's, again, something much bigger, that your throat is literally birthing things into reality, and it looks like something that births things into reality? So therefore, you know, like, don't just think like it's not just as you think so shall you become, but like as you speak so shall you create, you know, the kind of abracadabra type approach to it. So again, you know, such a powerful topic, really encouraging people to do a little bit more research, and not just that, but encouraging you to have your own experiences. That is one of the things that we here within Paradigm Shift really encourage. You know, don't just listen to us, go have your own experiences. Noscite ipsum, approach it from the Gnostic perspective, to be able to gain wisdom through knowledge, or sorry, wisdom through experience. That is, or rather, yeah, okay, so wisdom is knowledge gained through experience. So go out there and gain yourself some wisdom by creating these experiences yourself, and yeah, really explore more about what this brain and what this body is truly capable of. So with that said, we're going to segue here. And I'm honestly not going to take a long time being able to talk about the updates on the website, because I'm actually going to do this in a separate video. But I did just want to be able to bring in some on-screen graphics to be able to give people essentially like a very quick tour. And so within the Paradigm Shift Central website, just to be able to set this up again, you know, this is a website that I wanted to be able to create to basically serve as its own social media platform for us as a team to be able to help document the ongoing shift in consciousness, for us to be able to use as a platform to share our voice, to share our art, and for us to be able to, again, you know, just be able to have a space that is going to inspire us into our creative potential, into our ability to know that where we're sharing, like what we are sharing is being seen, and for a place for us to be able to support and celebrate other creators within the community. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the Paradigm Shift Central website in a second, and we'll do a screen share, and it may work within the Zoom call in the background, but for the people tuned in on YouTube and Facebook, you'll be able to see it in a second. And long story short, the website has, again, been something that has been evolving over the years. Huge shout out again to the Patreon supporters. You guys help me. Your like support allows me to invest this and refine it. And the big difference between where it is now and where it was even just a couple months ago is that essentially I refined it, meaning I crystallized it, meaning I aim to make it like as less than what it was, but actually more than what it was, in the sense that it directs the focus. You know, it's kind of like, again, going back to the theme of the meditation. If you're focused on too many things at once, it's hard to be able to like get where you want to go. But I like the idea that the word focus can literally be like broken down to an acronym of follow one course until successful. If maybe you've never heard that before, but I really like that. So this is about being able to like a lot, like really dial in the focus of the website to be able to support the intentions of it. So I'm going to bring up the graphics for that, and let me just confirm to see if this is going to work properly, and we'll find out in 1 second. You might see a little bit of a glitch real quick. So let me see here. All right, can you guys see that in the Zoom? Can you just give me a thumbs up? You guys see my screen right now? Okay, cool. So everybody can see the screen, including the YouTube people. So as I am on the website here, okay, good. So this is going to work. So I'm basically just going to run you through a quick tour of the website. So this is, again, this is like the homepage of ParadigmShiftCentral.com. So right when you go to ParadigmShiftCentral.com, this is what you're going to land on. Before, it was a little bit more complicated and there was like an intro page. Now you can go to the intro page separately if you click here for the intro page. I'm not going to do that right now, but I encourage you to do that. There's some cool Easter eggs there, and there's kind of like the intro to the game. Actually, I will show you a little bit later, but again, up here you got your main menu, and we'll go through that in a second. But right on the main website, what you're going to find a variety of media feeds. At the very top is our Instagram page, and this is a very cool feed that came as a result of us doing some really cool work on the Instagram and using Instagram in a way that's never been used before to be able to help feature a variety of conscious media creators in this fashion, where you can see there's like a creator on each row that we have within the project. And I'm gonna practice refreshing the page here, because for whatever reason it wasn't loading the rest here, but let's confirm that the website's operating fully functionally, and I'll scroll down a little bit in a second. But again, for those of you just listening on audio, I really encourage you to just go to ParadigmShiftCentral.com. So even for those of you tuned in right now on YouTube, go to ParadigmShiftCentral.com so you can explore this for yourself. So essentially, this is like a website that's really set up to just be able to like explore a variety of conscious media creators. So again, I'm just like scrolling through here. You can see all of these posts that we have through our Instagram feed, which have been featuring various community creators within the community. More of that's going to be coming in the future. There's a lot of production involved with that. So, but nonetheless, there was like 2 solid months where I was like posting there 5 days a week, and we got a lot of content there, and you can already see like just the value of that. Scroll down a little bit further, and what you're actually going to see is a collective feed of Instagram posts from leading members within the community. So as a leading member, when you support on the Patreon at the $11 a month pay what you wish or higher, you can use the Instagram feed for people to be able to see the content that you're creating there, and it will show the 100 most recent posts. You can actually see there is a post from Lise. If you're watching this live right now, you'll notice there was a pop-up for more information about joining on the Patreon. That pops up as an automatic thing, so that's an easy way to just be able to get people to be like, yo, I want to learn more. We'll get back to that a little bit later. But again, through the Instagram feed, you can see here, essentially, like, what's really cool is this website has like really evolved over the years, but basically, again, it's kind of like this collective art project where together we're creating this tapestry, and visually this is like literally like creating the image of a tapestry, where you can see, again, you know, just this idea of all of our posts kind of coming together as like one piece of art. So I'm just going to keep scrolling down here, but again, I encourage you to check out on the main page the Paradigm Shift Central team page, and then the posts from the leading members through Instagram. So again, you can literally see Lisa's post coming through there. Super awesome to see that, as well as Brianna, and as well as Bevan. And for the leading members who are tuned into this, and if you haven't yet, I'll walk you through this a little bit later on the side, you can get your content working through the feed as well. So scrolling down a little bit further, and again, there's really not too much more to show, but this is the simplicity of it. You'll find information for the live broadcast that we have coming up, and along with that, you will find the information for the links of the previous broadcasts in MP3 formats, as well as a link to Paradigm Shift Radio on iTunes, where you can subscribe to it there. If you're on the desktop, I'll just give you a quick little like tip. If you click the upper right corner of the YouTube screen, that will drop down the playlist, and then that's where you can like load up the past levels really easily. So that's like one way to just be able to like, again, there are literally like hundreds of broadcasts that we have done, because you can literally scroll back like all the way back. I'm just gonna like see, like, if I just like scroll here for a second, it might not even load. Yeah, okay, here we are. As I scrolled all the way back to like early episodes of Paradigm Shift Radio. That's as far as it doesn't even show all of them. It only goes back to episode 96. Nice. Which was an episode featuring Matthew Silver, who many of you would probably like know nowadays. He's like super like famous and viral. But again, So much content there for you to check out. There's really more than you can listen to in this lifetime alone. And then if you scroll down a little bit further, you can see our schedule there. So even in this case, you can see yesterday's full moon meditation listed, tonight's synergy circle, and then the next broadcast that we are doing next week, unless I decide to change it, is going to be a dream class, and that's where we're going to be talking about dreams, metaphysics, dream practices. And then the week after that is actually going to be what we refer to as Destiny School. And Destiny School is when we rotate a topic of discussion into the broadcast. And that topic is to be determined, to be announced. And that's actually going to be a topic that's going to be voted on by the community. And I have some ideas for what I want the topics to be. Like, it's either going to be one or the other, and then us as a community will choose. But that is actually going to be voted on both through the Patreon and through the Discord. So make sure you join our team chat, the Discord, to be able to join there. Scroll down a little bit further and you're going to see the option to join as leading members, and a little bit further, and this is where you get your shift entries. And so the shift entries are a really, really big part of the project, and this is something that I wanted to be able to refine the project to be able to help focus it a little bit more. Shift entries are essentially blog posts on the website, but what we do is that we want to be able to focus the shift entries on really serving a purpose of both having a certain degree of quality created as an intention for the people doing them to be able to serve as a place for us to practice documenting the shift in consciousness and creating something that's going to be a little bit different than just your regular YouTube or just your regular Instagram. But again, with each one, you can embed a video and you can use it as a way to be able to add to the collective timeline. And so on the front page, you can literally scroll, like the feed loads itself, so you can literally just keep scrolling all the way back. Just as a quick example, there's some dream reports there. There's dream report from our friend Lise, aka Paper Druid. Super awesome dream report, just one of the many awesome videos. You can see there's videos of me meeting Amma, the hugging saint, videos from my birthday, guided meditations. Obviously there's like quite a few videos that right now, like, most of them are mine, but as more leading members add to the process of contributing to the shift entries, then there will be like more variety from a variety of creators. But again, like right now, we're still just getting into the flow of the project. So again, call to action for any of the leading members: be sure to connect with me through the Discord, and we'll be able to help you with publishing content through the main website. And there's a couple other things I'll mention in terms of work periods. So again, if you scroll all the way back, you can actually go like all the way back, and there's actually like the very first paradigm shift video that you can watch. So you can see there's like lots of like free hugs videos and all sorts of cool stuff. And then if you check out more on the website, and it may have froze. No, okay, it didn't froze. Okay, cool. So other things on the website that I just want to be able to point out in terms of the menus and stuff: you've got a menu on the side if you're on desktop. You can pop that out and check it out. It's pretty straightforward, but again, if you browse those menus, you pretty much find unlimited content. You can browse the shift entries by category. The home page is what we're on, super easy to navigate. You can check out the categories for the live broadcast. You can check out the old paradigm shift radios. You can categorize it by synergy circles. Each of those links will direct you directly to a YouTube playlist. So if you're in mobile, it just opens up in YouTube, and it's super easy. And again, even for any of the links here on the Instagram, if you click those, it will open up into your Instagram app if you're on mobile, but you can still browse it on desktop as well. I really wanted to be able to create this website as a place that basically interfaces the social media platforms that we are already using through the website. So that's kind of the idea, is that like you don't have to recreate the wheel, and I don't want to have to like ask people to do something that's going to take so much time away. But knowing that everybody's already posting on Instagram and already doing things on YouTube, it's just about being able to funnel things through in a way that's effective. Other things that you can check out through the videos, again, through the videos, you can find featured YouTube channels. That's really cool, worth checking out. I'm not going to click on everything just now because I don't want it to like load up, and the bandwidth is kind of tight right now. Other things I do want to mention: you can find the free hugs videos, waking up with Wolf meditation videos, other guided meditations, Mystic Spider-Man, Sight Beyond Sight episodes. Really encourage you to check those out. Those are some of the earliest paradigm shift videos from like 2010. Virtual reality videos of meditations, videos from inside paradigm shift physical meetings, and also some like must-watch classics, and also some full-length movies as well. And those are titled under shift movies, and those are the Journey to Lucidity movies that I've made from back in the day, and there's still several in production as well. If you check out a couple more things, and there's really not too much more for me to explain here, and that's the idea, is that this website, again, it's like simple but also dynamic. You can check out under the About page for more information about being able to like learn more about Paradigm Shift, community guidelines, subscribe to our newsletter, information to join the Patreon, the tip jar, pretty straightforward. If you click the join button, that's going to take you to a page about learning how to become a leading member. If you click the team chat button, that's going to launch the Discord so that you can join our team chat on Discord. Again, that will be something where as a public member, you'll have access to the public channel, but as a leading member, you'll have access to the entire channel, and then you can log in if you are a leading member. Down in the bottom on desktop, there's a couple other cool buttons. If you were to click the buttons there, they'll load up new videos. If you click this button, it will load up a random video, so I'm just going to click that here, and we'll see what video synchronistically will appear this time. So that's a video from one of our friends who is Justin Scott, and his video just happened to be here. And watch, I'll like click it again, and we'll see which video happens to appear next synchronistically. And there's a cool video from Synchro Shakti. So again, it's a really cool feature within the website where basically it's kind of like drawing a tarot card, and essentially if you're just like, I don't know what to watch, go to the website and you can find like a video that you want to be able to watch there, and the universe will kind of choose it for you. So I'm just trying to click and close something here. For some reason it's not working, but again, I think it's just because like the bandwidth is kind of loaded. There we go. Okay, other things I will just mention, in the bottom right corner, you can click the team chat button, and that will pop up the Discord with the option for you to view it, but then you have to join it to be able to access. And the other thing I'll mention, in the top right corner, there's the moon clock. If you click that little icon, it's like unlisted, and that will show you how much like percentage the moon is at. Currently we're at 92%. Just a nice little cool feature there. And also the other thing that I will mention is that we do have the shop built into the website. That's actually under construction, but if you were to click there, you can find some of the items I'm literally like, that's literally the next thing I'm working on, is adding items there. And you can see your little cart up in the top, and that's where you can find Light Guardian crystals, shift buttons, free hug signs, shifter booster kits, Lumerian Light Guardian crystals, Auralite 23 wraps, other crystal wraps, and other items as well, such as t-shirts and buttons, or sorry, not I already mentioned buttons, but also stickers and mugs, lots of really cool stuff. So keep an eye on that. Otherwise, right now, the old shop is currently at questitemshop.com, but again, I just wanted to be able to migrate that into the Wix website. So yeah, that's essentially like all there is really to explain. The other thing I will just mention as I switch the camera back to our regular feed, yeah, let me know in the comments right now. Just like drop some 1111s if you're just like, yo, that's pretty cool. And again, I think this website is like, again, like something really unique and really powerful, and I want you to see it as like a shared art piece that we are creating together. So if you want to add your contributions to it and you want to work alongside me and the other leading members, then sign up on Patreon, send me a message on Instagram if you have any questions there. Again, the Patreon, you can sign up at any amount, but when you sign up as a pay what you wish contribution of $11 or higher, then you can join as a leading member. And I really want you to be able to see that, again, that sliding scale as a way for us to keep it accessible for people in the community. But really, I want you to be able to, like, as things continue to build and you're interacting, I want you to be able to be like, yo, like, I'd be paying $50 a month for this easily, because there's a lot of value there. And again, when you're joined on the Patreon, you get access to me as a conscious media creation coach, other aspects of the Paradigm Shift chat, the option to join on these live broadcasts. And the other thing that I will just mention here real quick, and then just a couple other things, and then I'll just get some feedback from you guys, and then pretty much we're ready to wrap it up. Within the Paradigm Shift Central project, this is new information for the leading members. We are beginning our reactivation of our Paradigm Shift Central leading member work periods, Mondays to Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So those are not live broadcasts. Those are through our Discord chat, where basically we join at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the morning. We work on things together. We go over like details within the project. We share like collaboration concepts, and we practice like posting things through the website. And yeah, that's an awesome opportunity for, again, just us to be able to be in that co-created collaborative space. So really, really excited to be able to invite the leading members to be able to take part in those. Again, Monday to Thursday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The other things that I will just mention on the Discord, for those of you leading members, be sure to check it out. There have been some updates there. You'll notice in particular, only for leading members, there is a new objectives channel. Check that out. You're going to want to read that. That's going to give you more information about posting shift entries, also information about adding your information to the Instagram feed, and also to the team map, which will come later down the road once we're at that stage. Other things that I do just want to mention is to remind people the importance of being able to utilize the tools that we provide for them, the physical tools, such as the shift buttons, the free hug signs. Of course, you know, maybe we'll have to change the free hug signs to like free smiles with optional healthy hugs or something like that. I don't know, right? It's this, but again, nonetheless, the shift buttons are there to be able to serve you. The shift buttons, for those of you who aren't familiar, I'm wearing one here. It's just one of many shift buttons. They have the Paradigm Shift Central website on the rim. You use these as tools to evoke synchronicity, to hand out to people, for you to be able to engage with people, to evoke conversation, to plant seeds, to build community, to assist you in building physical paradigm shift community. Super, super potent, super, super powerful. And again, now that things are really functioning on the website, you can direct them back to the website. They can tune in for broadcasts like this, get involved with the team chat, lots of really cool stuff. So again, check out the shop on the Paradigm Shift Central website. Either go to questitemshop.com, well, that is still online, or go to paradigmshiftcentral.com/shop, and you'll see the items on there within this coming week. And again, just send me a message, and even you can even just be like, yo, like here's like $30, send me whatever shift buttons you can, and again, I'll package them up and I'll send you like an assortment. And again, that's like consciousness evoking imagery on them, as well as art from members in the community as well. Other thing that I just want to be able to mention real quick, because this is just like kind of like a side update just in terms of what I've been up to and everything like that. In terms of conscious media creation, first of all, in terms of other stuff, I've been super, super busy. This is like a little bit of exciting news. I'm actually in the process of moving into my new studio apartment, which I'm going to be utilizing for production purposes. I'm actually going to be setting up a room there where I'll be able to like film on green screen more regularly, so I don't have to like set it up and take it down. I'll have higher internet speed, so I'll be able to do more broadcasts here without as much lag, so that's going to be really exciting. And again, thank you so much everyone for your support. If you want to add additional support for that, ask me about either signing up for the Patreon, or if you want to purchase any of the wire wraps, the items from the shop, the Oralite 23s, please feel free to let me know, and that is all greatly appreciated. And thank you again to everyone for helping me get here. But again, it's not just like what I'm doing, it's what we are doing together. And yes, like, yeah, moving into an apartment is a big part of my life, but it's only going to allow me to continue to show up in service even more for the team. So I'm really, really excited about that. That's other things that are just like happening in my life that it's relates to this project that's super busy. The other thing I just want to mention real quick, and then we'll just pass it over to you guys. I want to be able to get some feedback on the website and stuff. One thing that I'm tapping into right now is actually getting started on TikTok. So TikTok is a social media platform. Most people have not really used it a lot, but it's really, really exciting. And honestly, I would encourage you guys to check it out, because it's actually like a completely different community than Instagram and Facebook. And it's really focused on original creative content. And it really encourages people to like get humorous and get creative and to create like their own like unique style of expressing content in a variety of ways. So I'm going to be working on creating paradigm shifting content, not just of me, but of other members of the team as the account evolves, and working on growing my audience there, which in turn will be able to help funnel that audience back to the Paradigm Shift Central project as well. So you can follow me on TikTok at Paradigm Shift Central. And again, the other aspects of the project that I'll be working on is, again, creating the ongoing heartbeat through things like Instagram and Facebook to be able to direct more people back to the Paradigm Shift Central website. That's my job. Whereas like you guys are creating content, and then together as a team, it's being able to help curate an attention towards the content on the website, and for me to be able to help put it in front of people, and for me to be able to help create content that's going to direct people back to the website. One of the big challenges with Instagram, just for those of you curious, if you haven't been using Instagram for a little bit, it's like hard to maintain the same reach. So you have to like rebuild your momentum each time you go away for a little bit on Instagram. So that's like where the consistency of a presence on Instagram is really important. So again, I appreciate everybody who's here already, here and now, before like we've like already got that momentum already ramped up again, and that just means that, hey, you know, this project is important to you and you're going out of your way to stay in tune with the updates, and that means a lot. So again, stay tuned for more TikTok content. I'm going to be posting exclusive videos only on TikTok there at tiktok.com/Paradigm Shift Central, or just look up Paradigm Shift Central there. And yeah, thank you again, everyone, so much for your support. So in terms of other stuff, there's a lot more, but we'll save it for another time. At this point, I wanted to just be able to remind people within the project that you are invited to be a part of it, that the website and the community and the space, the sacred digital space, is here to support us as creators and to help us evolve as storytellers, share the content we're creating, share the messages we're putting out, share the art that we have to share with the world. And again, for us to be able to ask the question of what story are we creating together? So as we get ready to wrap up this broadcast, I want to just be able to pass the microphone back to Neil and Lise, if you're still there. I'm not 100% sure if they are. Just any quick feedback on the website, and if you've gotten a chance to view it on your own outside of this. And again, for anybody in the chat, let me know what you guys think of the website so far as it is. And I'm pretty pleased with it. It accomplishes what I've created it to do. There was a lot of work involved with refining it, and now the next step is to play with it. Again, this is like a very Cancerian trait where like I create like a game for us to play, and then I invite people to play along in this game. And so the Paradigm Shift Central website, think of it as like the game that we can play together. So join me in creating content and viewing content, and even if you're not a leading member, by just supporting and celebrating what we're creating together. So just reflecting on just, again, the vision of the project, the website, where it's at right now. Any feedback, if you guys just want to help pump it up a little bit, please feel free to
I'll jump
let
in
me know.
real quick because
Yes,
I'm gonna drop out.
of course.
I'm here. So yeah, I like updates are all looking sweet, and it feels a lot easier to navigate. I think, like, trying to think of it from an outsider's perspective, without access maybe to like the login, if you've not yet joined, like just working through all of the drop down menus and kind of being able to read more information about it compared to like when I interacted with it first. I would say it's flowing a lot more smoothly, and yeah, it's just clear, and the social media feeds are kind of showing up well on there. And yeah, there is a lot of stuff. I did see your backlog of like videos going like, is it 2010 or 11 or something like that? And I was like, whoa, like, and I actually kind of got like sucked into that portal for a little bit, and which was really interesting. But yeah, you could spend a long time just engaging with everything that's on there, and there's so many different topics and stuff to explore. So yeah, definitely, I would encourage people just to take a bit of time to get used to navigating it. And yeah, there will definitely be something on there that will be the thing that's like, okay, yeah, like I don't need to think about this anymore. Like this definitely seems like a community I want to participate in. So
Awesome, sweet, thank you, Lise. And again, Lisa and I were actually working on Lisa's first shift entry, so keep an eye open for that. And again, that's just going to be one of many things from Lisa and other members of the community that we'll be able to share through the website. Neil, did you have any, and thank you again, Lise, did you have any thoughts, feedback on the wewebsite? And Lise, are you heading out right now? Do you want to just sign off?
yeah.
Okay, any closing words for the people?
No, just thanks for space holding, and yeah,
Perfect.
like definitely get outside and get singing.
Perfect. All right, thank you again, Lise. Rest well. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Lise.
All right. Cool. Okay, go ahead, Neil. Any quick feedback, and we'll wrap it up in a minute.
Yeah, bro, your site looks amazing. I love it. I'm on it right now. I've been navigating it for the last 5 minutes. I love how clean it is. Everything is put in place. My issue has been for the last 10 years, I've like redesigned my site, because how do you convey everything you do in one place, right? And I know you've done a lot, so I got a feeling you probably had similar things, like how, like, do I create another website for this, or do I put it on here? Well, I don't want to split the traffic between two sites. I want to funnel in one place. And you've figured it out, and I love it. So this is perfect, and it's exactly what's needed for what's coming. You putting everything in one place so that people can come and experience and learn information on many different levels. I love how you have new videos and the random video on the corner right there, just like subliminally in the on the side, so that people can click on that wherever they are. The style, the fonts, the graphics, the colors, everything looks amazing, and your logo is epic. So I really love what you've done here, dude. Good job.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And dude, yeah, likewise. Like coming from someone who's like also in the website design of, again, a very similar, like we're creating very similar things where again it's like this archive of so much media and how do we organize it and everything.
Yeah.
And again, yeah, like that's where it's taken me a long time, but again, that process was a process of refinement. And again, and I mentioned that, you know, for other people, if you're creating websites or you're creating a message that you're trying to get out there, keep it as simple as possible. Keep it like, if there's a place where someone might feel confused, do what you can to be able to mitigate that confusion, to keep it, you know, so it's like, you know, just drawing them further into the website. And again, and then from here, it's again about being able to like overlap the website with our other social media platforms. So this is where, again, you know, essentially through my Instagram, it's going to be about utilizing the swipe up feature and the highlights and the link through the bio and directing people and things like that. Seriously, like I know you guys appreciate it, but just reiterating it, like to be able to and I can say this, you know, again, just like sitting here with Neil, to be able to coordinate a project where you're like trying to like direct and lead a community and coordinate people is incredibly challenging, but in like the best way possible, because again, the reward out of it is so meaningful. So again, I just really want to be able to thank everyone for being a part of this and for just being able to, you know, give your attention to what we're creating here. And again, I want to be able to invite you to play. I want you to be able to be a part of this ongoing story, and I want you to be able to share your content through the main website. And even if you're just getting started, jump into the team chat. Like that's one of the best places where you can just be able to get started on this. And again, and I encourage you to check out the intro page. I didn't click that, I didn't show you that yet, but go ahead and check it out. It's kind of cool. Again, it's kind of like it's set up to kind of like feel like the beginning of a video game with like a little bit of a backstory and a narrative, so you can actually see like more the mythos, the bigger story of what it is we're creating here. And again, that story is about the resurgence of the Light Guardian, the shifters, those of us who are trying to bring balance into the world as darkness looms and we ignite our light, so to speak. And it's very much about like coming into the balance of that gray Jedi archetype, those of us who carry the wisdom of both sides. So again, super excited to be able to create and just play with what it is that we're creating together. I'll be doing more updates, kind of probably almost just like reiterating what I shared here, just in a simpler format so that people can get familiar with it. But again, just encouraging you to check it out. Leading members, stay in touch through the Discord, share your updates there. And I just got to be able to be mindful of my voice at the moment, so I'm not overdoing it. But Neil, before we wrap it up, any closing thoughts that you want to share, or any just like call to actions to be able to invite people to connect to what you're doing? Please go ahead, dude.
Yeah, so just to let you know about a couple events we have coming up this weekend on Portal to Ascension, we're doing a webinar with Dr. Samir. He's the one that discovered the Bosnian Pyramid Complex. It's called the Healing Tunnel at the Bosnian Pyramid Complex. And check this out, they found a tunnel at the Bosnian Pyramid that is emanating a frequency, and all types of people have been going to this tunnel and being cured of every type of illness, from like for cancer to Parkinson's disease, standing in the tunnel. And this is like real. This is like people are going there and literally signing up to go hike and to do this. So he's going to be releasing the results, the scientific studies behind it, and also giving the testimonies from the people that have healed from it. So not only is he going to talk about what he discovered, how it came about, he's going to be specifically talking about that. That's on Saturday at 12 p.m., portaltoascension.org, online events. You can sign up there. And then after that, the next week, we have Covert Secret Space Program with Michael Sala, where we're going to go into depth about the Navy and how they're releasing new patents that are basically advanced technologies that they've been working on for like 50 to 60 years through the Secret Space Program. That is a form of disclosure, in which disclosure, in regards to the extraterrestrial presence, is occurring in this format, that they're starting patent technologies and then release it to the public and then give us the backstory and how it got created. So those are the next two events. But really, go check out our website, go to online events. We're doing a tour to the Yucatan Peninsula, 8-day tour this November. We're doing the Forbidden Tour. We're doing the live event with True World history in Atlanta. We're touring with James Redfield, the author of the Celestine Prophecy. So you can look at our online events, you can look at our live events, take a look at that, follow us. But what would be great for me is if you just went to a search engine, typed in Portal to Ascension, and just added everything you found. That would be awesome. We're Instagram. We're trying to build our Instagram. If we can get 2,000 more people, I can do the swipe up feature, and that would really help me.
Yeah.
I've been doing everything organically, no support. So we've been getting 8,000. We have 8,000 people now through organic meme posting. Our YouTube channel, we're putting out free content all the time. So I know I dumped a lot of things on you right now, but the easiest thing to do is Google Portal to Ascension, sign up to whatever platform you feel more comfortable with, and follow us there and check out what we're doing, because we're just picking up momentum. We're a one-stop shop, just like Paradigm Shift Central. We're a one-stop shop for consciousness, for the awakening happening. Not only are we here for people that are just waking up now, that want to know what's happened, what is happening, what's going to happen, but we're also here for the light workers to be taught to go to these trainings and be the teachers for this new dimension that is now emerging.
Awesome. Sweet. Wonderful, dude. Beautiful. All right. Before we wrap it up, Neil, I mentioned it before. Do you want to share maybe just a short little freestyle or something you maybe got planned, just to be able to end people off with a little bit of bonus inspiration?
Yes.
Spark their spirit. Go for it.
Yeah. This one's good because it's about taking care of yourself. In this world of calamity, with organized piety making fools drop to their knees, we be the free. People see right in front. Time for the peripheral, narrow-minded ignorance. Be the bigger man to see the benevolence. The interdimensional energy of love holds my truth above other dimensions. I'm the anti-level vacuum being sucked down with the pull of a black hole, recycled in this universe that shows acceptance. Knows acceptance by accepting the predicament that I am in. With all the government makes me think I do is all I do is a sin. Straight fear-mongering. So I write with a pen to show beginning to an end. Just know we chose to be here. Tear perceptions of fear. And remember, Jah will be waiting there. It's time to believe in yourself. To forget monetary wealth, to concentrate on your health. I felt lost, stones pelt, body bloody, judgment by those that say they love me. But what does love mean within these lower frequencies of emotions, causing mental erosions? I'm frozen in a rapidly moving time, holding heavens full of energy from realms of divine essence. These beings think that we're under their guide to receive lessons of ascension? No. The gods we show, the biblical portrayal of Jesus in pagan rituals, the deities who we worship and bow, ask forgiveness, and how can we reach the kingdom of heaven? Away from ourselves, looking externally for a personified God, indemnified soul of the old ancestry of the duality of friends and foes. Know this, the energy level will persist. The new world order doesn't matter one bit. No one world without singularity. Physical perceptions manifest in realms of spirituality. No order, pure anarchy to set all of humanity in 13 different third-dimensional planetary systems free. So follow me, and we will transcend and ascend to the fourth density.
Yes. Man, that was fire. Beautiful, dude. Awesome. Did you write that one a while ago, or?
Yeah, 6-7 years ago.
Right, and it's even more
it's
relevant
timeless
than ever. So it's timeless. It's timeless, man.
Straight up.
Wizard stuff right there, man. It's beautiful. Sweet. All right, Neil, thank you again so much for being here tonight, brother. Always a pleasure co-creating with you. And again, I know we're still just ramping up, man. There's still so much more ahead, so super excited to be able to do that with you as well. So
likewise.
With that said, yes, thank you, man. And so with that said, we're going to wrap up this broadcast. Again, I just want to encourage people to like I said, check out ParadigmShiftCentral.com, check out PortalToAscension.com, find the links for that down in the information below, connect with all the social media links that you can find there, stay in tune, stay in touch, stay connected, join us through our team chat. If you really enjoyed this broadcast and you want to just be able to be like, yo, this is something that I want to add my support to, if you're just like, this is what the world needs, and you get value out of these broadcasts, you feel inspired, signing up to the Patreon is a super awesome way to be able to do that, to add your support there. And again, with the option to join as a leading member, check out the shop at questitemshop.com or the new shop through paradigmshop.com/shop. Get your items, add your support there as well. And if you do have any other questions, just send me a message through Facebook or Instagram. I apologize that you can literally tell my voice is needs to end and take a rest, but nonetheless, we made it through. So thank you again, everyone, for being a part of this journey and for being here tonight. We're going to have another broadcast next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time there. Sign up for our newsletter to be able to take part in that. And with that said, we're going to wrap this up here. And thank you again, everyone, so much for joining us. Ending it off with the wolf howl. It's just me in here. Neil had to drop out. So ending it off with the wolf howl, and everybody else inviting you to add in your wolf howls. Thank you so much, everyone. Keep it shifty. Keep on smiling. Do what you got to do. Keep shining your light. Keep creating your art. And yeah, as always, we will see you in the future. Much love, peace, and wholeness. See you in the team chat. Go team. Yeah. Special thank you to Danny Leonardo, whose music is featured at the beginning and end of this broadcast. Check out more of Danny's work in the info in the YouTube below. Thank you, Danny.